What's up YouTube? I'm Tan at CSS and I'm going to teach you how to become a self-taught web developer in 2022. I'm going to give you 10 easy steps to ensure that you succeed in the industry. If this video is at all helpful for you, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified of all future videos. And let's jump into the video. So number one on my list isn't an actual skill at all. It is belief and it is commitment. Coding is actually very difficult. You're gonna have a lot of concepts that you're not gonna understand. There's gonna be a lot of material that feels very foreign. Things are not gonna click right away. You're gonna become frustrated and discouraged. But if you have belief that learning the material is worth it, belief that you're gonna land a job in the industry after learning the material, it's gonna give you that motivation to continue to push through in order to learn these concepts. And you're gonna have to be committed to learning it. It's gonna be a lot of watching videos, watching tutorials, taking courses, and also coding consistently each day for at least 30 minutes to an hour each day, just to practice and to learn the skills that you're developing. So yeah, you have to have belief and you have to have commitment. Those are very, very important when you're starting out. So number two on my list is choosing an actual path. Do you want to become a front-end developer? Do you want to become a back-end developer? Or do you want to be both, which is what we refer to as a full stack web developer? In my opinion, it's much easier to start off in a particular area instead of trying to learn everything at once. You can quickly become overwhelmed with a lot of the concepts because you're taking two different disciplines and trying to learn it all at once. Like in my opinion, it's just best to focus on a particular area, whether that's just front end or that's just back end. And as you progress in your career, you're gonna come across these domains anyway, right? As part of your everyday job, you're gonna start picking up things. If you're a back-end developer, you're gonna pick up front-end stuff. If you're a front-end developer, you're gonna pick up a lot of back-end stuff as well. Now, this is not to say that it's impossible to learn full stack right away and gain a job within the industry. There are people who have done it. There are people who are currently doing it. People have great success that way, but I just advise to start with a particular domain and then work out from there. So coming in at number three is to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the building blocks of web development. These are the foundation. If you learn these three skills and become solid in them, the sky is the limit for your future. So HTML is the structure of a web page. CSS is the styling and JavaScript is the functionality. These are very important concepts to know, but you don't have to know everything. You're not going to know everything starting out. You just want to have a good solid foundation in these three areas. How to get that knowledge? There are a number of resources online. I will share some of the resources that I used when I was first starting in the industry. One of the resources that I used was called Treehouse, and it was a great starting point for me because it took very difficult, complex topics and it made it very understandable. It put it in very simplistic diagrams and courses that was easy for me to understand. Another resource that I used was Free Code Camp, and they have an excellent curriculum. Everything is broken out into modules. You can actually go from front-end development all the way up to back-end development with their course. So if you're one of those people who wanted to be a full stack developer, that is an excellent resource to use, or even just a front-end or just a back-end. That's an excellent free resource to use to get you up to speed pretty quickly. Another resource that I used was Udemy. I purchased a number of Udemy courses ranging from a bunch of different programming languages, from JavaScript to PHP to Python. These courses are normally about $12 because they have a lot of sales. So the course will be listed for, 200 bucks, but they'll say this week only it's 12 bucks or 13 bucks and by now, and you think you're going to miss the sale, but that happens like continuously. Like I've never seen a course actually be full price. But there is a number of courses that really bridge the gap in between the courses that I use for learning. Some of these courses teach things at a high level, and there are things that I refer to them as glue pieces that you don't get in some of these courses. But the Udemy courses kind of really dig deeper into the different technologies, so you can have a more thorough understanding of the tools that you're working with. And one of the courses that really helped me was a web development course called Zero to Mastery. I'll leave links in the description to all of the courses that I mentioned and the resources that I've mentioned previously, so that way you'll have direct links in order to use these resources. So with number 4, you want to learn Git and GitHub. If you're not familiar with what GitHub is, it's basically a repository of code. It's what organizations use to store their code bases. So you want to become very familiar with using the terminal. You want to become familiar with using Git commands. You want to know how to clone a repository. You want to know how to create a branch. You want to know how to make changes to the code and make commit messages and pull requests. And while these things may sound confusing right now, if you just spent a week or two really digging into the Git process, you'll be able to pick it up in no time. And it's one of those things where I advise to learn before you start a new job, because it will help your onboarding. It'll make your onboarding that much easier. So instead of trying to learn Git and the processes that you could have learned previously before starting the job, go ahead and knock it out now and become proficient at Git so that you're ahead of the game. At number 5, you want to learn React.js. What React.js is a front-end JavaScript library that is used to create fast, reusable websites and components. It is an industry leader right now. I would even say an industry standard at this point. I've seen just so many projects using React. There's such a market for React developers. I definitely advise learning React right out of the gate to get employed as fast as possible. Now, while there are other front-end frameworks and libraries such as Vue, you have Angular, and just the list goes on and on. Right now, React is at the top of the heap and is very in demand. So if you want to be a web developer in 2022, definitely take the time to learn React. Now that we're comfortable with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, GitHub, React, you want to kind of put all that together and actually build projects of your own and host these things in a repo of your own. You want to build real world projects like maybe a weather app or a calculator or just a number of different projects that really showcase your ability. And when it's time for you to apply for jobs, companies will be able to take a look at your GitHub repo. They'll pull down your code, analyze it, see what type of skills you have, and it's incredibly beneficial. You really want to have that experience of building actual projects and not falling into building just what they build in a tutorial or a course. You want to branch out and do everything from scratch on your own, just to assess how you're developing and how you're progressing in your skills. And that leads me into number 7 on my list, which is build an actual portfolio website. So you want to showcase those projects that you've built in an actual website. You want to link to those projects if you are hosting those on a live site. You want to have a link to your GitHub repo. You want to have contact information. You want to have a little backstory about you. it's really important to have a presence online to showcase your work. You are really promoting yourself. You're promoting yourself to potential employers. You're showing your skill level. You're showing your projects. You're creating this aura. You're showcasing who you are as a developer and your skills and reasons why companies should take a chance and hire you. So it's very, very important to build that portfolio website. You definitely want to have something to show, especially when you're starting out. So number 8 is incredibly important. You want to create a LinkedIn profile. I cannot stress this enough. This is incredibly important. Please build a LinkedIn profile. This is an incredible resource to use. And if you're not familiar with what LinkedIn is, it's basically a social network for employment. You build out your profile, you make a page with your experience, with your projects, the skills that you have. You can actually take quizzes to kind of showcase what languages you're proficient in. You can have those skills endorsed by your contacts. It is incredibly powerful tool to use. And what happens is, with that page being built out, showcasing your experience and your skills, you will have recruiters reaching out to you for potential jobs. And that may sound crazy, but you don't have to reach out to employers. They reach out to you. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, I love things to be easy, especially when it comes to jobs. So if I can have employers reach out to me, it is amazing. And I will say that I've been on there for about 6 years now, and I've had hundreds and hundreds of job offers and recruiters who reach out to me daily about just positions that they are looking to fill. It is an extremely powerful tool. Please build out your network. Please utilize this platform because it can take you pretty far. Number 9 on my list, you want to create a Twitter account if you don't already have one, and you want to join the Tech Twitter community. The Tech Twitter community is very important. It is a community of developers, engineers, data analysts, QA people, DevOps, just pretty much any and everybody who works in tech, and they can help you land jobs. They can encourage you. They share information as far as who's hiring. They share their coding journey, the struggles that they face, their wins, their losses, and it's a great community to be in. You need that. You need that support system. You learn about the latest technologies that are being used. It's just an incredible community to be a part of, and it's an excellent way to grow your network. You can reach out to people who are, tech leads at a company, and you can just message them and say, "Hey, are you hiring for front-end developers? Or you're hiring for, backend? Here's my resume. Here's my portfolio. Here's my GitHub." It's just incredibly useful, and I definitely recommend signing up and just becoming involved in the community. So the final step on my list to become a self-taught developer in 2022 is to apply, and apply some more. You want to apply to any job posting, any and every job posting that you see. It's pretty much a numbers game at this point. You want to just flood the market with your resume, with your application, get it in front of any and everybody that you can. Reach out, use your networks, use Twitter, use LinkedIn, use all of these resources to try to land that first job. I won't lie to you, getting that first job as a self-taught developer will be difficult. You're probably gonna fail the interview processes. Unless you're a rock star, I'm definitely not a rock star. There are tons of people who are rock stars who still fail coding interviews, so don't feel discouraged. You have to use everything as, don't see it as failure, see it as a learning opportunity. So if you go into an interview and there are questions that you don't know, or you just totally bomb the interview and you're feeling defeated, learn from those things. Take that disaster, if you will, and learn from it. identify where you were weak, study up on those concepts, and become stronger in that. So the next time you go into an interview and a new company asks, those same questions, now those things are strengths instead of weaknesses. You want to continue to level up and build like that. As far as the interview processes, you want to be prepared for all scenarios. Different organizations use different techniques. So you may have one interview or you may have 5 rounds of interview. Typically, the first interview is more of a culture fit interview. So you're basically gauging, the company is gauging who you are as a person, how you will fit within their team. And you're also interviewing them. Don't forget, that's very important. Being a developer is a very sought after skill, and you do have sort of you're pretty empowered, right? There's only so many developers in the world, so many people who can program. So don't feel like I have to get this job. I need it more than anything. Be confident in that I am lending my resource to this company, but I am very much valued, right? You want to make sure this place is a good fit for you, because as you progress through your career, you will have options. You'll have tons of options, but it's all about landing that first job. Now, as far as the interview process, some companies will make you stand in front of a whiteboard and in front of a few people and, solve a problem on a whiteboard with a marker. And for myself, I don't find that very natural. It's very uncomfortable. There's a lot of developers who have, completely bombed that interview because it is so unnatural. But you just want to be aware that that is a possibility. For a long time, I was very afraid, especially as a beginner. I was very afraid of doing a whiteboard interview. And I think it was because I heard so many disaster stories that I just knew that I was going to have one of my own. Unfortunately, I have not had a whiteboard interview in my career. I've mainly had take-home test, and as well as another form of interview where it's basically a mix of a culture fit interview and a technical interview. But instead of actually coding or creating a project, you are actually just talking about code. They're gauging your knowledge on, the fundamentals, like how to center an element on a page, or, principles of React, or things like that, where you're just having a conversation about these technologies. And I find that much more comfortable. You're much more engaged in the process, and I do really well in those sort of interviews. So you just need to be aware of everything. But the most important thing is just to apply. Get yourself out in front of these companies. Even if you're afraid, just push yourself out there. You have to be uncomfortable to grow, and know that on the other side of that discomfort is where you want to be. So that's it, guys. That's my 10 steps in order to become a successful self-taught web developer in 2022. If this video was helpful for you in any way, please like, share, comment, hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.